Hi everyone, today we're talking about Google or Alphabet and their earnings report. And Google actually missed their earnings report, which is not something I've seen for quite a while. We're going to read this article and I'll talk about my opinions on Google stock or Alphabet stock. So Alphabet stock sinks on revenue miss. Alphabet reported its Q3 earnings after the bell. The company missed revenue expectations but beat expectations on the bottom line. Google parent company Alphabet just reported its third quarter earnings. The company beat earnings expectations but missed revenue expectations. The stock sunk as much as 5%, though it regained some of its losses and hovered around the 4% down. Here are the important numbers. Earnings per share 13.06 versus 10.42 expected, and revenue 33.7 billion versus 34 billion. So as you can see, the earnings per share were pretty good, but the revenue was not great for Google's kind of standards. But when you look at Alphabet's overall revenues were up 21% year over year, so it's still a really good growth company. Not only a double-digit growth company, a 20% growth company, which is really good. So maybe it's one of those cases where it's Wall Street having very high expectations and Google not being able to deliver. But I would not complain about 21% year over year. As usual, Google's advertising business accounted for most of its revenue, hitting 28.95 billion in the third quarter, or 20.3% increase year over year. It separates its advertising revenue into two categories: properties revenue, which includes ads it sells on its own site like Google Search and YouTube, and its network revenues, which includes ads on third-party sites. Network revenues hit 4.9 billion, while its properties revenue were 24.05 billion. Obviously, that's been the big, massive kind of income for Google for so long. But I think it's kind of like the other side of it, where it's the cloud side of it, where a lot of people have kind of been investing into Google, and these were the kind of cloud numbers that it pulled out. Meanwhile, its other revenues category, which includes its cloud business and hardware sales, and especially it's important to investors looking for Google's future beyond ads. So like I say, we're trying to see where Google can go beyond the adverts, which it's relied on for so long. Hit 4.64 billion, up from 29.24% year over year, so that's pretty decent. But overall, it's less than dramatic acceleration in the last quarters, which were 3.653%. Which caused quite a bit of a jump in the last earnings report when they released numbers like that, which were really good. So overall, we can see the company's growing very well, and it's pretty good numbers. But I think it's one of those where Wall Street have kind of put like very high expectations onto the stock, and Google not being able to deliver on it. So I don't think Google stock in general should get hit too hard from those earnings, because they were really good earnings. Overall, really good year over year growth, and I think it's just Wall Street going in too hard on companies, which is starting to do slightly, which is slightly worrying overall. Is that they're putting on very high targets on companies, and companies not being able to actually make those earnings. But good earnings report overall. Nothing kind of crazy that made me go, whoa, that was a bit scary. Like the Netflix and like the big subscriber miss they had there, that was scary. That Google earnings report wasn't really scary, and pretty decent overall. So if you were like kind of a shareholder in Google, maybe it's one of those times where you consider buying a couple more shares while Google's on a little bit of a discount after that earnings report. But overall, I believe in Google. I don't own any shares, and I'm not planning to buy any shares, but I would recommend it as a buy. I reckon that could easily get to 1,300, that stock. So yeah, good earnings report, nothing too scary about it. Obviously it missed a couple of expectations, but I think that's more from expectations being too high, and I believe in the stock long term for sure. And I think if you were if you were interested in Google, I think this is your time to buy, to be honest with you. So that's the video for today, guys. Give the video a like, subscribe. I'm going to be talking a lot more about earnings kind of over this week and probably next week. So keep up with that support, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.